In the mid-2010s, ASIS, Australia's premier intelligence agency, was thrust into a covert mission that would test its capabilities in one of the most volatile regions in the world, Operation Sandstorm. The mission was initiated in response to rising tensions in the Middle East, where extremist groups had been gaining power, and threats to Australian citizens, diplomats, and interests were growing. The operation's objective was clear: track down and neutralize a terrorist cell linked to ISIS that was planning a series of high-profile attacks on Australian targets in the region. Operation Sandstorm began when Australian intelligence intercepted a series of communications that suggested an imminent threat. A terrorist group, affiliated with ISIS, had infiltrated a country in the Middle East where Australian nationals were operating, and they were planning to carry out several attacks targeting Australian diplomatic missions, expatriates, and key infrastructure, with the Australian government at risk of losing valuable resources and facing increased threats to its citizens. ASIS was called upon to use its expertise in covert operations and intelligence gathering to neutralize this threat. The mission was highly sensitive and involved ASIS agents deploying to the heart of the Middle East. In a region plagued by violent conflict, sectarian divisions, and the presence of multiple terrorist groups, the agents faced immense danger. ASIS's task was to infiltrate the terrorist cell, gather intelligence on the specifics of their attacks, and work with local authorities and international partners to stop the plot before it could be carried out. ASIS agents relied heavily on human intelligence, HUMINT, to gather information about the terrorist cell's activities. The agents worked undercover, blending into local communities and using their deep knowledge of cultural and political dynamics to build networks of informants. They infiltrated key areas where the terrorist cell was believed to be operating, gaining access to information that would help pinpoint the timing and targets of the attacks. Simultaneously, ASIS utilized signals intelligence, SIG-INT, to intercept communications between the cell members. Using cutting-edge surveillance equipment, they were able to track the movement of the operatives, monitor their communications, and identify their weapons caches. The cell members, highly trained in counter-surveillance techniques, were doing everything they could to hide their activities, but ASIS agents stayed one step ahead, quietly collecting the information needed to prevent the attacks. The agents also worked closely with other intelligence agencies, such as the CIA, MI6, and local Middle Eastern forces, to share intelligence and coordinate strategies. Together, they mapped out the terrorists' movements and identified key leaders who were orchestrating the plot. This collaborative approach proved to be a critical element in successfully executing the mission. Through a combination of covert surveillance, direct action, and intelligence sharing, ASIS agents uncovered the terrorists' plan in its entirety. The agents learned the precise locations the attackers intended to target, as well as the type of weapons they planned to use in their assaults. With this information in hand, ASIS coordinated with local law enforcement and military forces to execute a series of precise strikes against the terrorist cell, neutralizing key operatives and capturing important figures responsible for planning the attack. The success of Operation Sandstorm was a direct result of ASIS's ability to infiltrate one of the most dangerous and elusive groups operating in the region. By acting swiftly and decisively, ASIS agents were able to prevent multiple attacks on Australian targets and dismantle the terrorist cell responsible for the plot. The operation prevented what could have been a devastating blow to Australian citizens and interests in the Middle East. Though the full scope of Operation Sandstorm remains classified, its success had far-reaching consequences. It not only saved countless lives, but also sent a clear message to terrorist organizations operating in the Middle East that Australia's intelligence agencies are committed to defending the nation's interests, no matter where the threat originates. The operation also highlighted ASIS's ability to operate in some of the most complex and high-risk environments, using its expertise in covert intelligence gathering and strategic collaboration to neutralize global threats. Operation Sandstorm stands as a testament to ASIS's critical role in global counterterrorism efforts, showcasing the agency's determination and skill in protecting Australian interests abroad. The operation demonstrated the importance of intelligence work in modern warfare, where threats are increasingly diffuse and complex. Behind the scenes, ASIS agents continue to protect Australia, ensuring its safety in an ever-changing and unpredictable world.